Hi and welcome to MRTV. Today, not from the MRTV headquarters, but from the camping site. Yes, I am a camper. If I have too much from the bustling city, then I come here to breathe some fresh air, and this here is my caravan and my mobile office. Here I can also edit my videos and actually also do PCVR. In today's video, I'm going to do benchmarks. I'm going to check out how well do the Reverb G2 and the Oculus Quest actually perform on a laptop. So absolutely stay tuned, watch the whole video because all of this goodness is coming up. Welcome back again here to MRTV. My name is Sebastian Ank and this channel here is all about virtual reality. I'm bringing you independent XR reviews, you're getting the latest news and you're getting benchmarks just like this one here. So if you're interested in virtual reality, then absolutely subscribe to this channel and click on the bell button so that you don't miss anything. As you can tell, we're within the caravan now, and well, this is my working and playing area when I'm working from within the caravan, and it works really well. So, today's video is not sponsored by XMG, but without my hardware partner, I couldn't make this video because XMG has borrowed me this laptop. This is the XMG NEO 15 and it's a gaming laptop with a really beefy graphics card, the RTX 2070 Super, which hopefully will be enough for the G2 and also for the Oculus Quest in link mode. And well, this laptop also has a very nice battery, a 93 watt-hour battery, and this will last for quite a long while. So before we get into this, let me tell you a bit more about this laptop. If you're looking for a new laptop that can also play your VR games, this might as well be it. And actually it is made for gamers and for content creators. So for me this is really cool. I'm really sad that I have to give it back, but I'm glad to let you know a bit more about it. So this has a 15.6-inch Full HD display with 240 Hz. Yes, 240 Hz. So my 2D games, like when Cyberpunk is coming out, I'm definitely going to play it here on this screen because this has the best screen I've ever seen in a laptop. For the processor, it's an Intel Core i7-10750H, 6 cores, but if you want, you can also go for an 8-core one. And as I mentioned, this is running with the RTX 2070 Super. My laptop came with 32GB, but you can also opt for the 64GB version. And very noteworthy about this laptop is its keyboard. Yes, because it comes with an optomechanic keyboard with tactile silent switches, something that also the Razer laptops come with, and this simply feels great when typing. So if you're in the market for a gaming laptop that will allow you to play VR games as well and get some work done, then the XMG NEO 15 is a great choice, and the link to the XMG NEO is down in the description of this video. But now let's get to the benchmarks. What can a laptop like this get out of a VR headset like the G2? And I'm running the G2 here at full resolution, 100% Steam super sampling, and playing Half-Life Alyx with the ultra settings, so with the highest settings possible. And I can tell you, it just felt like playing this on my 2080 Ti computer. It looks so beautiful in the G2 and it's running really smooth here, getting around 72 frames per second out of this, and I'm telling you, in VR, this looks great. Of course, if you want, you can get this to 90 frames per second, simply put down the graphic settings or play this not at full resolution, but I simply wanted to push it to the limits, and at this limit it still plays really fantastic. And next I tried it with the Quest 2 using Link at 90 Hz and the maximum quality settings. And when you put it to the maximum quality settings, it's quite a very high render resolution, and I could tell because it was not as smooth as with the HP Reverb G2. It did look also quite good, not as good though as with the G2, because we did have some color banding and it was simply not as clear as with the G2. But overall also a good experience. However, I did have to put back the quality setting because at the highest quality setting it was tough to play it as smoothly as I played it before. So it's true here as well, it all depends on your setting. If you want, you can get this to 90 FPS, but I wanted to simply max it out. So here we get to around 55 frames per second using the highest settings, ultra, and best quality setting 90 Hz. But again, you could get to 90 frames per second if you choose a lower quality setting. But anyways, for Half-Life Alyx, if you want to play it on a laptop, I believe the G2 is so much better because the darks look better, you don't have color banding, and everything looks simply so much more clear. Next, I tried out DCS, and I'm using the VR quality setting for both headsets, the G2 and the Quest 2. And we're starting here with the G2. And here we are in the cockpit, and with full resolution with the G2 it looks so stunning, but it's also hard to get very high FPS out of this. As you know, DCS is a super tough game for getting high FPS. So here on average we're getting around 35 frames per second. You can compare this with what you're getting on your computer. It is playable, but for sure you should probably turn down some more settings and get probably half resolution in, and then you will get a few more frames per second. So it is playable, but if you want to have the real flight simulation experience, for sure you want to play this with a super beefy desktop at home. And here we are now in the Quest 2, and well, as you can tell, it runs a bit more smooth than just now in the G2, and the reason is I couldn't do the full maximum quality with the Quest 2 here. It was just too choppy if you would go for this maximum quality, so I still stayed at 90 Hz, and that's why we get to 45, and then the reproduction kicks in, as you can tell. But well, it's really smooth, you can really make it happen, and you will have a good time here in DCS with your Quest 2 and this laptop or any other 2070 Super laptop. So this works actually really nice. Also, I went down with the super sampling to 50%, and well, if you want to have like similar results with the G2, yes, absolutely, just put the super sampling to 50 and things will look much better. Probably also the reprojection will kick in at 45 frames per second and you get something like you see here. But again, I would say if you want to play these games, definitely play them with a beefy desktop PC. How did the world look here through the lens of the Quest 2? Actually, I would say it is quite acceptable. Yes, not as good with the G2, but also acceptable. Next in line, Skyrim. Skyrim with the G2, playing it at a full resolution at maximum settings. And well, this is the vanilla version of Skyrim, right? So no mods whatsoever, and this runs really nice, probably around 75 frames per second on average. Again, if you want, you can get to 90 pretty easily. Simply put down the resolution a bit and then you will be good. But, well, I simply wanted to test it with the full resolution because you probably also want to run the G2 at a full resolution. Now everything looks very clear, but unfortunately the textures are simply not as high res here with the vanilla version, and you probably want to install some mods. I still have to get around doing so myself. And now we're here with the Quest 2 and Link 90 Hz, and here again I can put it to the maximum quality settings and it was very smooth. Actually it was around like 85 frames per second or something around that, and probably you can tell from the screen recording that it was pretty smooth. Now unfortunately here with the Quest 2 I couldn't always show you the frames per second. I don't know why this is the case, so I had to simply look at my own frames per second meter that I had on my left hand. But well, I can tell you it was super smooth here with the Quest 2. Unfortunately, and I don't quite know why this is the case, it did look not as good as other Quest 2 Link games. It did look kind of mushy in the distance, and actually probably it was because the game already is not so beautiful in the first place nowadays. But really, I wouldn't want to play this on the Quest 2 if I have the G2 somewhere near me. It's a big difference as compared to the G2 here playing Skyrim. Next I tried Boneworks, and Boneworks is absolutely one of my favorite VR games when it comes to first-person shooters. And here on the G2 it's so beautiful, and actually I'm thinking about playing it again on the G2. I played it before on the Pimax Artisan, which was great, but with these visuals, yeah, it is really cool. And as you can tell, with the full resolution, it runs at around 80 frames per second, and that makes for a very nice and smooth experience. Again, if you want, you can get this to 90 frames per second, but then you would have to put the resolution a bit down. Now also what I didn't activate here for the G2 is motion smoothing, because then it would be locked at 45 frames per second, and it will probably even look a bit more smooth because every second frame will be injected by that technology, and it's good, but I simply wanted to try it out without it, and well, that is the result. Very playable, 80 frames per second. And here we are with the Quest 2, running it at 90 Hz and the full maximum quality setting. And I can just tell you, this works like a charm. You're going to have a great time with Boneworks on your Quest 2 using link cable at full resolution and full refresh rate. Everything works like a charm. It doesn't look bad at all. It's actually really good. And you know what's funny with Boneworks? I think how this guy walks, it always looks like he needs to hold something in walking to the toilet. So for the Quest 2 with linked mode, we got to an average FPS of around 75, and yeah, well, this was nice, worked really well. And here we are in Star Wars Squadrons. It's so cool that you can play this game actually mobile with your laptop, and I'm here in the G2, and I can tell you it just looks so good in the G2. That was the first time that I played it on the PC. Before I played it on the PSVR, but now on the PC, and wow, it looks just great. For the frame rates here now with the full resolution, I got to somewhere under 45, so not enough to get the reprojection kick in, and probably I should have made it so that the reprojection kicks in, because well, at this kind of frames per second it is a bit choppy, and well, you want actually to get over 45 frames per second. But this again was just to show you how many FPS could I get here with the full resolution of the G2 with this laptop. So how to improve it? Simply go to the Steam VR setting and put the super sampling from 100 to probably 80 or 70, and then you will get a higher frame rate and everything will look way smoother than this here. Anyways, in terms of visuals, this is just so nice. The G2 simply looks great when it comes to colors. We have these great contrasts, and especially for a game like this, where you see the black of space and then like the spaceship in white, for example, it just, it looks so good. So for this game and this laptop, I would say put super sampling somewhere down to 70 or 80%, and then you'll have an amazing experience. For the Quest 2, of course, I also tried it, but my recording did not really work out, so therefore you're still looking at the G2 recording. For the Quest 2, I was a bit disappointed because we had these color banding problems again, since we have lots of black here, and it simply didn't work as good as with the G2. Especially in terms of visuals. In terms of performance, we have the same thing. If you want to get anywhere close to the G2 in terms of clarity, you have to use the full and maximum quality settings, but that is quite taxing on your computer. So then you probably have to dial it a bit down. Generally speaking though, the G2 experience in PCVR games is just superior as compared to the Quest 2, and if you have a laptop just like this, it makes sense to get the G2. Overall, I'm really pleased with the PCVR experience here that you can get on a laptop, on this laptop here, the XMG NEO 15. So if you're in the market for a new gaming PC laptop, have a look at this one here if you are in Europe. Alright, as you could tell, so with both headsets, actually you can play Half-Life Alyx, you can play Star Wars Squadrons really well on this laptop, but for sure also on other laptops with a 2070 Super. And that is good news for all of you who would like to have these PCVR experiences on the go, or probably you need to bring this to work or to some exhibition, and well, it will work. Alright, and that's it for this video. Thanks a lot to my hardware partner XMG for borrowing me the XMG NEO 15. I really hope that this was an interesting video for you. If yes, give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you've not yet subscribed to MRTV yet, then absolutely do that now and click on the bell button so that you don't miss anything. And I'm looking forward to see you in the next episode.